session was to be sometime in the morning, and we are kept late in the day meeting way for others. That's no problem. But let me introduce myself. By profession, I'm a teacher teaching in a college in Rajasthan in Ajmer, and I started visiting prisons since 1998 for the simple reason that the place where I teach, the college shares the same wall with the central jail Ajmer, and I couldn't help but going across and seeing what I could do and what outreach I could do for prisoners. I'm also the state coordinator for Prison Ministry India, and since last year member of the State Minorities Commission, a journalist, and all these hats that I wear, I try to use it for the benefit of prisoners. Who are the minorities in the prison? The ones I've been associated with are women, juveniles, foreigners, LGBT or sexually differently oriented, and the mentally ill. I will not talk much on women except one comment. There was a study commissioned by the National Commission for Women in 2005 and executed by the Commonwealth Human Rights Initiative, the CHRI. I was part of that 3-member team that visited custodial institutions in Madhya Pradesh. A 152-page report is on the net, on the CHRI website, and the recommendations and observations we made to the government should really be eye-openers. But I'm afraid it's just gathering dust and nothing much has been done, and all that data and all those observations and recommendations put there on the net. There was a quality check made of prisons, and Bhopal Central Jail got the ISO 2001 stamp. I hope I'm correct in the technicality, which means it was world class. But the irony of it all is that the other prisons in Madhya Pradesh, the condition was pathetic, very especially the situation of women prisoners. I had the privilege of interviewing 5 women prisoners or 5 women in each of these custodial institutions in Mahila Thanas, Nari Niketans, short stay homes, and their condition was pathetic. In all of India's independence history from 47 till date, there has not been a single woman doctor that has visited any of the women prisoners who have been ill. It's always done by a compounder or by a nurse. Legal aid for women is non-existent. The lawyers say, the women say, we don't know who our lawyer is. It's the men folk who settle everything, and then they're just taken from place to place, or they remain there to rot in the jail. Talking about, in one of my visits in those custodial institutions, I met a transgender inmate, and the condition of this person was pathetic because such a person becomes a laughing stock, an entertainer for prison officials, for guards, and for the inmates. The person really feels a misfit there, misfit outside, and a misfit also during incarceration. Foreigners, talking about mentally ill is another category of prisoners that is a minority. I did 6 years of advocacy, thankfully with the support of the People's Union for Civil Liberties in Rajasthan and the CHRI, who supported me to get a mentally ill prisoner out from jail. The fortunate thing about this was that his relatives, his sister was ready to claim him, to take care of him, even though he was a liability. His story is like this. He was a truant. He ran away from home very early, maybe in his teens. His whereabouts were not known. And then suddenly the family he called himself Baba Khan because he became a schizophrenic. He didn't know what his name was. He had sometimes phases of sanity when he could tell everything, and some phases of insanity when he could be anything like the President of America or Hitler or anyone. And so when he was put into the jail, they asked for his name and he gave it as Baba Khan. His real name was Roy Varghese, but the jail recorded the name of the inmate as Baba Khan and father's name Papa Khan. If the son is Baba, obviously the father is Papa Khan. And with a photograph that the relative sent me of his childhood, through the help of some prison officials, I managed to trace this person. And when I told him his real name, his eyes lit up and he was so happy that there was some recognition, someone somewhere knew him. And that's how the whole process started. Getting his relatives to meet him, his mother and father got to know that the son is somewhere, and a year later, both of them died, one after the other, leaving only his married sister to really take responsibility for this boy. When he ran away from home, he got caught or he got involved in a trafficking racket. He was sentenced to 10 years in prison. He did his 9-year term. He completed 9 years, and in the 10th year he became schizophrenic. They had to shift him to a